Oh, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, and today I want to talk about this New York Giants team and the way that they are turning their season around. And when you look at the New York Giants and you look at the rest of the NFC and you look at the rest of the NFC East, is it possible they could make the playoffs this season? Listen, I understand. A week ago, I was talking about firing everybody. I wanted Brian Dable gone, and I was just pissed off because the Giants lost to a really bad New Orleans Saints team, and I was all doom and gloom and very negative. And you guys know, going into the season, I was very positive. I was the one on this podcast and on the other shows I do saying, don't rule us out for the playoffs. I think we're going to win at least 7 games. I think this team is going to look a lot better this season. Those are all things that I said going into the year. But then, of course, after an 0-3 start, Jackson Dart then goes into the starting lineup. What a win over the Chargers, and then a loss to the Saints. Obviously, there were ups and downs, and this season has been a roller coaster. But now, after that win over the Philadelphia Eagles, I am buzzing, and all Giants fans are buzzing, and the vibes have completely shifted back towards the positive for our New York Giants. So, I want to discuss kind of the state of the NFC East in the state of the New York Giants ever since they turned things over to Jackson Dart and why a perfect storm could be occurring for the Giants to really turn things around here and potentially become a playoff team. Let's start with the NFC East now. The Giants just got a clutch win over the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are now 4-2 on a 2-game losing streak. The Giants at 2-4, so they're still at the bottom of the division because the Cowboys have a half-game lead on them at 2-3-1 because of their tie with the Green Bay Packers. The Washington Commanders play tonight, but they're 3-2. They could end up being 4-2 and on top of the division, or they could be 3-3. We shall see. But the Dallas Cowboys just lost to the Carolina Panthers. That's a bad football team. Now, I know the Giants lost to a bad football team in the Saints 2 weeks ago, but again, second start for Jackson Dart, his first ever on the road. And the Giants are a much better home team right now than they have been in years past. And I think that is because of Jackson Dart. But when you're looking at it, the Giants are only 2 places out of first place in the division. And this upcoming week, they're facing the Denver Broncos, who, yes, did beat the New York Jets in London yesterday, but they barely beat the New York Jets yesterday in London. The Broncos have had some good wins this season, but overall, they haven't had many convincing wins. That's a team that I think is beatable next weekend for the New York Giants. And then you're talking about potentially being 3-4 going on the road into Philadelphia to face the Eagles, a team you just beat in week 6 at home on primetime, with an opportunity to turn the season around and get back to 500, 4-4 after week 8. That's the status for the New York Giants and the NFC East. They are only 2 games away from being back at 500, and they have 2 winnable games on the schedule. Now, from that point on, they play the Niners, who are a really good football team, albeit an injured one, so you never know any given Sunday. They play the Bears, another good football team, but probably beatable. The Green Bay Packers are a really good football team. All of their games have been close, though. The Detroit Lions, another really good football team. The Patriots, another good football team. The Giants then get their bye week. And then they play the Commanders in week 15. And that's where I want to talk about what happened to the Giants pre and post Jackson Dart. I'm looking at that game against the Commanders in week 15 and saying, I think the Giants could win that. It's at home, and I think that they should have won against the Commanders in week 1. The Giants just couldn't score in the red zone in week 1. Now that they're scoring in the red zone over the last couple of weeks, well, last week in particular against the Philadelphia Eagles, Jackson Dart with a 20-yard touchdown run. Cam Scadaboo, of course, had 3 touchdowns in that game. The Giants have fixed, to some extent, their red zone offense. Now, we need to see it over a larger sample size. This has only been 1 week, but let's assume that they have fixed it. If you go back to that Commanders game, the Giants had a bunch of red zone trips and just couldn't get into the end zone. And that was a constant problem for the first 3 weeks under Russell Wilson at quarterback. And now that Jackson Dart is in the lineup, the Giants' red zone offense has become a lot more efficient, and they're converting at a much higher rate. So you look at that Commanders game that the Giants were very much in all 4 quarters. Had they just converted some of those red zone opportunities, they could have and should have won that game in week 1. Who's to say in week 15 that the Giants don't convert those red zone opportunities and they don't find a way to win against the Commanders and get a 1-1 split with the Commanders on the season? It's totally possible now. So, and that's where I'm trying to say that, yes, I was doom and gloom. Yes, I was really pissed off at this team and I was calling for heads to roll and I wanted firings. But Jackson Dart truly has shifted the vibes and the energy around this team. And he's gotten me to buy back in. I am a believer once again because the Giants have two really exciting rookies on the offensive side of the ball in Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. Not to mention, if you look at this roster, and these are things that I said in the offseason, this defense is too good for this team to win only 3 games this season. They have Brian Burns, who's playing at a Defensive Player of the Year candidate level. Dexter Lawrence is still wreaking havoc, even if he's not filling up the stat sheet. So is Abdul Carter, the rookie number 3 overall pick. And Kayvon Thibodeau looks like a former number 5 overall pick. He's been spectacular. Now, on the back end, they've had a lot of problems in that secondary. But this past week against Philadelphia, there was a schematic change from Shane Bowen. He didn't just play a ton of cover one man. He shifted in some zones. He had some stunts. He had some disguises to his coverage. And the defense overall played a lot better, forced turnovers, got sacks. So the defense looks like it could maybe finally be turning a corner. The offense has certainly turned a corner this past week against the Eagles. Of course, this team putting up over 30 points for the first time since week 2 versus the Dallas Cowboys. So I just think this Giants team has turned the corner now that they've got 3 starts under Jackson Dart's belt. And when you look at the team pre-Dart and post-Dart, the vibes are just better. The energy is there. The rookies are leading this team, and they're going into every single game with the mentality that they can beat anyone and everyone. And I love it. It has completely changed the way that I look at this Giants team. From 2 weeks ago thinking we're going to be picking top 5, blow it all up, season over, to now thinking, man, the Giants might actually be building something, and they could go on a pretty special run here over the course of the second half of this season. So I'm really excited about this New York Giants team, guys. Now, once again, a week from now, they could lose in horrendous fashion on the road to the Broncos, and maybe the vibes shift back the other way, and I'm doom and gloom again. But at the end of the day, guys, and I want to address something that I saw in the comment sections recently. Somebody was calling us out saying, oh, this is just a job for you guys. You're so back and forth. We're back and forth because we're fans. Like, I am a diehard fan of the New York Giants. I've grown up and I've dedicated pretty much my whole life to being a fan of the New York Giants. Yes, I've made a career out of it, but listen, that's because I love this team. I remember the days of Eli Manning marching down the field and going on 6 game-winning drives in 2011-12. That season is ingrained in my mind. So is the 2014 season, Odell's rookie year. And yes, I watched Super Bowl 42. I watched the New York Giants beat the Patriots the first time. I watched them lose to the Eagles in the playoffs the following season. So I love this team. I've always loved this team. But because they've been so bad in recent years, when the going gets tough, it's hard not to fall into that negative mindset. But that's why I'm trying to bring positivity this year and say Jackson Dart has me believing once again. It's only 3 starts into his career, but he's doing things that I have not seen a young rookie quarterback do for many teams in this league. So I'm believing because I am a fan and I'm going to root for the New York Giants till the day that I die. And now that they look like they've got a chance to fight against these top teams like they just did this past week against the reigning Super Bowl champions, I'm bought all the way in, and I am excited, and I am hoping to see this team somehow sneak its way into the playoffs because I'm a fan, and that's all that I want to see is this New York Giants team playing competitive, legitimate football late into the season and even into the postseason. It's all I want to see. And right now, call me crazy if you want, I have at least a little bit of hope that that is a possibility for the Giants, that they could fight and sneak their way as underdogs and push hard enough into the December month of the season and maybe even into January and actually make some sort of immaculate run here. So I'm just really excited, man. And listen, I'm just looking around the league. I'm seeing teams, the Lions lost on primetime last night to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a really good football team, but they had a losing record. I'm seeing upsets happen every single week around the NFL. I'm seeing teams like the Cowboys just be wildly inconsistent in the NFC East. I even think the Commanders are somewhat inconsistent. They're injured. They're old. They have the oldest roster in the NFL. I think they're beatable. And the Eagles don't look like the Eagles right now. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get that fixed this season. They seem to have some serious vibe issues in their locker room, some division between the coaches and the players after losing one of their top coordinators being Kellen Moore this offseason. So the NFC East, to me, guys, looks wide open. And the New York Giants look like the hottest team in the NFC East. So all it's going to take is for them to extend this winning streak a few more weeks, and they are firmly in the playoff hunt. They just got to take it 1 week at a time, though, and actually beat the Broncos. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But again, I just wanted to vibe check this thing. It's Monday. It's Victory Monday for the Giants. We had a Victory Friday. We had Victory Weekend. I was celebrating the Giants win all weekend. And now we're here. Victory Monday, New York Giants, 2-4 football team, but not as bad as their record reflects, in my opinion. And so I just wanted to get on here, do a quick episode, and share my excitement and my hope, because I know a lot of you say, hey, negativity, pessimism, where's the hope? Where's the optimism? It's here. I have that. I love this New York Giants team, and I'm really confident in Jackson Dart, and I love Cam Scatta. Boo! And I love that defensive line that they have too. So my reservations with Brian Daboll aside, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and allow him to prove me wrong and give him this opportunity to turn this team around and say, hey, I had a plan. That plan was to unleash Jackson Dart, and now I'm unfolding that plan in front of you. Let me cook. If that's what Brian Daboll wants to say, I will let him cook and see if he cooks up a Michelin star or if he cooks up a pile of duty. I don't know what it's going to be, but I can't wait to find out. This is going to be a fun rest of the season for us New York Giants fans as we root on this Ole Miss product, this rookie quarterback, Jackson freaking Dart. I absolutely love it. So once again, just bringing some positivity on this Victory Monday. I hope you guys do enjoy, and definitely comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are you thinking? Could the Giants make a run? Are you ruling them out? Do you think that they're going to come back down to earth next week against the Broncos? Or do you believe in this team the same way I believe in this team? This defense is too good for this team to be that bad as they were through the first 3 weeks. And you know what? This quarterback, I think, is too good for them to lose and go on a 3-game losing streak like they did to start the season under Russell Wilson. So trade deadline looming. We've got some conversations about trade candidates and potential trade away players for the Giants on the channel upcoming throughout this week. So do stay tuned for that. And of course, as we preview this Denver Broncos game and just continue to enjoy this win that the Giants had over the Eagles. So again, drop your thoughts below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. And also leave us a 5-star on Apple or Spotify if you're listening over there. But I will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one. And let's go New York Football Giants. Scatta boom!